Hi, this is my movie review of My Boyfriend's Back. It has Andrew Lowry and Tracy Lynn in it, and it was made in the early 90s. It's about these two, they fall in love, and then he's about ready to die of a gunshot wound, but before he does, he asked her if she'll go to prom with him, and she said yes, and then he died. And he comes back from the dead, and he goes to prom with her. And I thought it was a good movie because it just had a good storyline to it. So a few other things happen before they go to prom and everything, and some kid, and they get in a fight, and then at the end he goes back to where he's dead right after the prom ends because he starts falling apart. But I would recommend that you see this movie. It's a good movie. That's all I gotta say about that.
Okay, now this is my movie review of My Boyfriend's Back. Now this is the widescreen DVD, and I always thought this was available, full screen only, but definitely a widescreen and well worth it. This is one of those movies that the same script could have been a horror movie, but this is actually a comedy, and it's actually a really dark comedy just because of the subject matter. It's about this high school geek type of guy. He, of course, has the crush on the most popular girl in school, and he and his best friend have it set up to where he's going to go to where she works at this convenience store, and he's going to act like he's just in there buying stuff. His best friend's going to come in there, and his best friend's going to act like he's going to rob the place. But of course, he's going to save the day and save her life and whatnot, and that'll make her want to go to the prom with him. Well, he's in the store, and it turns out that a real guy is going to rob the store for real. And the real guy comes in there, with a gun held up and says, hand me the money. Of course, he thinks that it's this friend being staged up. So he starts talking back to the guy and jumps in front of the girl, and he actually gets shot. So, of course, he's sitting there getting ready to die. And he, from out of desperation, asks her to go to prom. And, of course, she says yes, because you're not going to tell a dying guy no like that. So he dies and gets buried. Later on that night, he crawls out of the grave, and he gets ready to leave the cemetery. And the guy at the cemetery says, "No, you cannot leave the grounds." He does anyway. And what's really great about this movie is how everyone treats him. He comes home, and his parents say, "Johnny, I thought you were dead." But he says, "No, I'm not." They say, "Oh, okay, well, supper's on the table." And that's how the people react. They realize he's dead, but they don't care. He's just another zombie walking around. He goes to school the next day, and everybody's freaking out. But their moments of freakness only last a few seconds. Then, they slowly turn into not liking him. They treat him like, does he think he's better than everyone else because he's a zombie? I mean, it's kind of like they hate him worse because he's a zombie coming back from the dead than they ever did before. So his main goal throughout the entire movie is to go to prom with her, and that's what he starts trying to do. Of course, her boyfriend gets in between him, and a big plot point comes to where when he realizes that his body's starting to fall off. An ear falls off after a date with the girl, and he realizes from an old woman in the town that he has to actually eat people to slow down the process of him decaying. So he eats the girl's boyfriend's best friend, and then that slows it down a little bit. And then he, throughout the entire movie, he eats a few people here and there, and mostly starts falling for her. And the movie has a great ending. The ending is basically he has to go back. He has to die. He has to finish off his death. So he finally has a bad dance with her at the prom and finally dies. And up in the judgment room, you find out that his death was not supposed to be. He was not actually supposed to get shot. The robber was supposed to slip on coffee. So he gets sent back to real life, and he's in there. And so he's thinking the guy's going to slip on some coffee, but the guy doesn't. He shoots him again, but he gets shot with this little necklace, and he lives, and that's happy forever after. So watch this because it's very funny in many parts, and it's just not what you expect from this type of movie. It's it's really truly one of a kind.